Hello, how are you going?
Hi, Sammy. Good, good, good.
Great. We're in. How good? Streamlined, perfect, ready to go. So this is our second live, which is really exciting, and we're back with our next lunchtime's chats with Dr. Heidi Ward-McGrath. And today we really want to cover we want to just cover all things food, really. Dog food, what we're feeding, just a general chat about food, because that's one of the biggest questions here at Olive's Kitchen is every one of our customers is feeding something different that works for their dogs. So we are saying nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Obviously, there's things that you can do better. But yeah, we just need to pick your brain, Heidi, on,
Sure.
things that we could do better, like
It's
what are you
always good
seeing?
to meet people where they're at
Yeah.
because what we choose to feed our dog varies,
Yes.
and we can always do a little bit better. So, food is powerful medicine. So, when you think of it in that context, what you feed your dog every day directly affects their skin, their gut health, their immunity, their ability to fight off disease, and their long term well-being. So, choosing some fresh foods, some whole foods, where possible, and adding
Yeah.
that into whatever you're feeding. So, I was just going to give some basic tips of three big categories. So,
Yeah.
think about high quality protein,
Yeah.
so meat, fish, eggs. Think about healthy fats, so omega 3s, and think about fresh vegetables for some fibre and some nutrients.
Yeah, so that's so interesting you say that because don't you think it just sounds like a human's diet and how we should be balancing it, which is the biggest thing we advocate is that your dog can't choose what they eat. We have to choose the right things for their dog bowl. Like let's just not feed them the exact same thing every day. And like funnily, Tony, mum's partner, my stepdad, he cracks up because I feed Jax like every veggie under the sun and
I've seen Jax's bowls, beautiful, it's a
he
work of art, Sammy.
honestly, he'll like just yeah. Tony is like creates these things called dog salad, but I just put like everything. Like I'll be cutting up an apple, I'll be feeding the end of the
Great
cos
for
lettuce.
leptin, great for
He'll like have
gut,
a whole cos
beautiful.
lettuce, the
Yeah,
finishing end of it. I'm like just put in the bowl. He just eats it. Like
yeah,
Jax loves veggies, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, will my dog eat that and does it like it? And I'm like, just try it, put it in the bowl, give it a go.
yeah. So
It's the
a balanced diet supports lots of things, and
yeah,
we've kind of we've forgotten, but we've
yes,
been a bit trained to forget that pre-highly processed food for dogs was a little different to highly processed kibble or roll or whatever other types of canned food. So yes, dogs can eat healthy, natural, nutritious food, and many holistic veterinarians will give you a big long list of why
yeah,
they should. So things like it's great for a healthy skin and coat, so they're not itchy. It's great for a strong immune system, their ability to fight off disease, the diversification of the microbiome that little song that you've heard me singing for many years is great for their digestion. So digestion
mm,
should be a chemistry set going off in their gut. So it should be whizzing and cleaving and popping. If you
yeah,
have food that is so dead that it doesn't rot, it doesn't go off, or it's long life, and like a roll, it just you could
yes,
sit it there and
mm,
it would be the same forever. Even there's nothing alive in there. Even the bacteria isn't alive because if it was, it would degrade and go off. So there's so much chemical preservatives in there, often sulfur dioxide, which is linked
yeah,
with things like pancreatic cancer and pancreatitis in dogs.
yeah,
There's so much of that injected in that sludgy meat type product that it's simply not alive. So that putrefies through the gut. There's
yes.
no chemistry happening. There's no cleaving for energy. There's no beautiful um, becoming bioavailability of nutrients. So, if you want to really reduce inflammation and promote great health in your dog, that comes from food that's alive. It has
Alive,
nutrients to give. Alive food. Recent,
fresh, alive,
fresh,
live
alive
food.
food is not the same
Yeah,
as highly processed food.
Highly processed, yeah. And I don't want to name and shame any like dog brands, but I know because we've had this conversation so many times before. Like, are there certain things like when I'm reading a dog food packet that I should be scanning the back and being like, absolutely not. You know, like I know you've got some good ingredients, the tips and tricks to say like steer clear. You know, so
For sure.
what am I looking at?
So I've written a healthy little pamphlet.
Oh.
And on the healthy little pamphlet, it explains things to avoid.
Yep.
So we say no filler, no corn, and no wheat.
No wheat. That's 3. So no filler, no corn, no wheat.
No wheat. Now, I'd like you to add no sulfur dioxide.
No sulfur dioxide.
I'm going to go out on a limb there because more than 50% of the dogs that I see with pancreatitis, which is a life-threatening intestinal inflammation of the pancreas, the organ of digestion, have often had a recent history of sulfur dioxide in their food. So SO4, sulfur dioxide. We want to avoid that one. And then there's other things that can really help. So those are some don't feeds.
Do not feed.
That's right, yeah. So I've got a bigger list of don't feeds as well while you're there, but we can come back to those a little bit later. Some of the things I wanted people to think about do feed is just things like blueberries. And blueberries is obviously I've seen in your senior formula, so fabulous for supporting health and healing and reducing inflammation. Great for senior dog cognitive function, and a very high source of anthocyanidins. Carrots,
so good.
For eyes. Then you've got things like pumpkin and kumara. Your beta carotenes. Kumara is really interesting. It's a complex carbohydrate, very different from a potato. So we don't want people feeding their dogs potatoes. Do you know why?
No, but I'm just assuming don't carbo load them. I feel like if kumara is just a better carb than a potato. Give me the real reason.
So the potato belongs to a family. And the family is called the nightshades. And guess what nightshades are? They're highly toxic. So we don't feed nightshades because they're highly inflammatory to the gut. So the nightshade family includes foods such as the common potato, capsicum, and eggplant. So if you have a dog with sensitive tummy or skin issues or some allergies, or even some immune system upset, their immune system's a bit overreactive and annoyed, please don't feed any nightshades. But you can definitely feed pumpkin. So cook up a pumpkin, get out the old, the ice cube trays that we had that have got all the vitamins in them. Just mash pumpkin, smooth it over your ice cube trays, pop those trays in the freezer, and every day you can just pop one out. And then you're not having to cook mashed pumpkin more than once a month.
Awesome. And can we just recap quickly on the nightshade then? So there's potatoes, capsicum,
and eggplant.
Eggplant. Well, that's quite a bougie vegetable to be feeding.
Very bougie, but it might be on your plate. So
could be on your plate. So that's super interesting.
No.
And so eggplant, no.
Put in things like leafy greens. So spinach and kale are extremely easy for dog owners to plant at home. Now, get a bucket. Fill it up with soil. If you have no garden, get a bucket, fill it up with soil, buy 1 punnet of spinach, plant it, put it at the front door, the back door, water it every day, make sure it's got some beautiful sunshine. You will have perpetual spinach, more spinach than you and your dog can have mashed spinach and eggs for breakfast. Very, very good. So no reason not to have some leafy greens at home. The same with parsley. Grab a second bucket or just shove it in the garden right by the back door beside the roses and grow beside the roses. So vitamin C, vitamin A, chlorophyll and iron in parsley, fabulous for digestion.
That's so interesting. I actually think I'm guilty of feeding capsicum. I just put that in the bowl sometimes. So I'm just going to remove that right now. I'm learning right now. We had a lot of capsicum in our house and it just sort of ends up, like offcuts and stuff in there. So that'll stop.
And then we've got common food allergies in dogs. I thought you might like to know the top 6.
I would love to know the common top 6 food allergies. It's
So
an
the
awesome
number
one. Tell us more.
one food allergy when I allergy test dogs in New Zealand is, drum roll, beef.
Beef?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew that.
So little
First tick for
terriers are
me.
not designed biologically to go running after a cow and down a cattle beast and eat them.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't put that in a biologically appropriate food for a small scruffy terrier.
No.
So the number 2 allergen in dogs in New Zealand, have a guess.
Chicken.
Well done, chicken, yes. So as you'll remember in Chinese medicine, chicken is hot.
Yeah.
So if you're unwell, Mum would have made a lovely chicken soup to make you feel if you had the flu and you're cold and clingy, and because it's peripherally vasodilating. But that's not a good idea if you have hot, itchy skin.
Yeah.
So avoid beef, avoid chicken if you have, itchy skin problems or gut problems or allergy sensitivities in general. The number 3 allergen in New Zealand is dairy because of our lovely 40,000 Dalton molecule size.
Crazy.
Number 4 is wheat.
Wheat, yeah.
So wheat is highly, highly inflammatory to the lining of the dog's gut. I read a really interesting book called Going Against the Grain.
Yes.
And Monsanto in about 1984 or 5 genetically modified the tip of the wheat plant, and they put an opiate receptor on the top of the wheat plant, which is interesting, which makes us think, gee, I love wheat, gee, I'm going to eat a whole lot more bread and crackers, and our brain lights up with an opiate centre. So they certainly knew what they were doing in terms of driving addictive food.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, it is highly inflammatory, and many of the wheat products are sprayed in a chemical called glyphosate. Which is a microbiome disruptor.
Yeah.
And there is some significant research, and it's been tested through the courts to say that it is linked with Hodgkinson's lymphoma and cancers, unfortunately. So don't be spraying any glyphosates around your vegetables or anything you're going to feed your dog.
Yeah.
And if you're buying processed food, you need to ensure where that wheat crop came from and if it has been sprayed with a chemical that may then cause microbiome dysbiosis in your dog. So it's another good reason to just learn to read an ingredient list and maybe have a chat to someone who, like a holistic vet, who has a slightly wider view about why the dog's gut might be annoyed, why the dog's gut might be inflamed, and why it becomes this circle of eczema, allergy, hay fever, licking their feet, scratchy skin. So those things are really important to know. Avoid soy.
Yeah, is that number 5? Oh, that's wheat. That's part of wheat, isn't it? Because there's wheat or gluten in soy. Yeah.
Soy, so avoid soy. And in New Zealand, there's an increasing allergy to lamb. Now, in America, lamb is a novel protein. Lamb is not a novel protein in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So if you're having a dog and you've got allergy issues and you want to support them with a novel protein, our New Zealand novel proteins look a little bit different. So you can try possum patties. So you can get literally 100% possum patties ground up and frozen just in the freezer. And each one of those makes a little single meal. That's a really nice product. Available, in many good dog stores and veterinary clinics that sell quality frozen foods. It's got heart and kidney and liver in it, which is a great nutritious source of vitamins and minerals. So the novel proteins are good for dogs with allergies. Very high in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which are naturally anti-inflammatory. So using food as medicine instead of using drugs to soothe dog's skin. Boosts their immune system, aids their immune system. It's also boosting skin health. So that's a great novel protein. Rabbit. Yeah. It's the next one. So highly nutritious, very low in cholesterol. So great for dogs or cats with heart disease. Every senior pussycat with heart disease and kidney failure or problems should be on bunny rabbit cookies. And I've had cats survive 5-8 years on rabbit patties with kidney failure. So cats are obligate carnivores. They need 80% moisture in their food. So what should we not be feeding a cat with kidney failure is dry food.
No dry food. I know cats are carnivores. They need to eat fresh meat. Like,
and they do better on that. Naturally occurring probiotics, which is great for their digestive health in rabbit, and a very rich source of vitamins and minerals. And they turn into a little fluffy bunny. So if you feed your little old rickety cat with a dry, sticky coat rabbit patties, all those beautiful fats and oils will come through the skin, through the coat, and they'll feel like a little soft, buffy, fluffy rabbit, and they'll be like they're wearing their own little fur rabbit coat in winter. So it's really nice for old, rickety, little old lady pussycats who are quite stiff and sore, so that's a really nice product. It's also very good for dogs with allergies, particularly terriers, and any pets that are overweight, because it's a nice lean meat.
Cool. So to recap on our 6 allergies, we've got beef, which I knew because Jax is the most allergic to Steffi in the world and can't do that. Chicken, dairy, wheat. Number 5 is lamb, we're saying?
Soy.
Oh, soy.
And
soy for lamb. And then number 6 is lamb. Awesome. And it's so interesting because I'm in that same camp as we often feed lamb instead of venison tripe if I'm feeding Jax, and he inflames straight away. So we often go to this possum, heart, rabbit kind of vibe as well.
Yeah, which is great.
And then I guess one of my last questions to wrap for this would be, for all steps in here, because one of the most common questions is, does Doggy Daily replace like what the food's giving you? And we're obviously always advocating that Doggy Daily is an addition to any dog's bowl to enhance it and make it better. But it'd be awesome to get your feedback on like why you recommend Doggy Daily sometimes, or like what other patients you have you're like, you would actually really suit this and you don't need this.
So where I'm seeing pets and we're having a nutritional consult and they're bringing up some issues that they have with food, part of the reason that the ingredient list of Doggy Daily is very helpful is it's got 53 vitamins and minerals from seaweed, and it's so tasty. It's really easy for them to eat. And so regardless of what the owner chooses to feed, whether it's kibble with some fresh food, whether it's fresh food, whether it's organic food, whether it's homemade food, or a mixture of household scraps, we talk about food being complete and balanced. Now, even many commercial foods don't have bioavailable vitamins and minerals because the quality is not as high as if you've just picked that fresh and put it in there in your garden. So I see a lot of dogs with zinc deficiency, and that affects their coat and their feet. I see a lot of dogs with cracked, brittle nails that are always breaking and coming off, and the dogs are biting at them. That's a selenium deficiency in New Zealand. A lot of our vegetables are selenium deficient because of our highly volcanic soil. And then your omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids. The gold kiwi fruit is the winner for me. Because 50% of our dogs and cats are getting cancer. And gold kiwi fruit is a very, very high source of vitamin C. And it's about doing something simple that a client can just toss in their meat patty. So you take out, frost the possum patty, put a teaspoon in, mix it up, put a bit of grated broccoli in there. Broccoli is a fabulous antioxidant. And boom, it's just as quick as scooping some dry kibble food, but got so much better in terms of the vitamin and mineral nutrient quality that's available. So food is medicine, and if we think of feeding food as not just to keep our pet alive, because you can be alive but not be in peak health, as any will tell you. But you want, antioxidant rich food, you want an omega rich food, and the food ingredient list that is, in your product is very helpful, regardless of what an owner chooses to feed for either for budget constraints or for time constraints. or just busy mums,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
and it covers a lot of diseases, particularly gut issues, skin issues, which is why the formula is the way it is.
Exactly. It's like a really broad all-rounder. So I'm going to go.
It helps the skin barrier. So when
Sorry.
you've got it helps the skin barrier. Where you've got
Yeah.
a really good skin barrier, you don't get opportunist infections. So things like eczema, Staph intermedius, Staph pseudointermedius, invading the skin effectively. Your skin barrier should be resistant to bacteria, to normal commensals of the skin. But if you have inflamed skin, if you have a lack of essential fatty acids, the skin is dry and flaky and itchy, and then the dog's self traumas, then that's a portal for infection for eczema of any type. And so feeding foods that boost that skin barrier is very helpful.
So like it's so about the skin, and it's like coming from the gut and it's coming out and it's inflaming the skin, and like we can't stress enough that allergies start 90% in the gut, and it's not about treating it topically or on top. It's like you've got to treat from the gut. Sort like look within it. What am I feeding? What can I change?
So healthy gut, healthy skin is probably the easiest thing to say.
Healthy gut,
if you have a skin issue, start with the gut. That's a great place.
Yeah.
If your dog has itchy skin, infections, ongoing gut issues, then often food is a factor. So they develop allergies to foods that they feed frequently over time. So what a lot of clients don't realise, they think, well, I fed this dog for 3 years or 5 years, so my dog can't be allergic to it. Actually, absolutely it can, because allergies happen over time. So mixing up proteins, diversification of what you're feeding, a little bit of diversity in food is great. We wouldn't feed a child in our household the same thing every time and expect them to thrive and do well. So remembering that animals would be naturally hunting, and it would be what was in season and what came across their plate.
Yeah.
So
that's what I always think about when I'm feeding Jacks, is like if they're in the wild and they were finding whatever they found, it'd be such a mixture every day. Like might be, a bit of meat here and there. Like I eat meat every day, but, like adding those veggies in, thinking if they're eating a dead animal and they eat the stomach, what's that animal eating?
Right. Little leafy greens and things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just why it's so important to add it in. And I'm also a weirdo, and I'm always analysing his poo, like, which is fine. Like, I know some people are like, why would you do that? I'm like, but it's just so good to see, like, what's going into what's coming out. Consistency
tells you a lot.
Yeah,
and that's a really
consistency.
it's a holistic approach.
Yeah,
which is a very scientifically sensible thing to do, Sammy. So well done, you.
I can see when he's eating a toy that he's not meant to have eaten. There's some plastic that's passed through. Like, it's a fun
So
time.
when it comes to food, look beyond symptoms and focus on supporting the gut and the immune system.
Yeah.
Reduce reliance on medication where possible.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, again, you may want to have a conversation with a holistic vet who has potentially some different experiences around pharmaceutical drugs and chemicals such as steroids, Apoquel, Cytopoint.
Yeah.
Those medications have side effects, and we've explained to you, just Google what are the side effects of steroids in dogs, and then be very, very aware that those things, there's a price to pay for suppressing an immune system. That is not a good idea. And use nutrition and topical care together. So if you have a dog that's itchy and you have a small $2 coin sized lesion on the leg, just treat topically the $2 size lesion on the leg. Don't napalm bomb the entire dog's gut and immune system and kill all the good guys that are 90% of the dog's microbiome army with antibiotics. That's not good stewardship of antibiotics. So we want to encourage people to use natural antibiotic sprays and lotions, and New Zealand Manuka honey, our lavenders are good, our totras are good. So again, a conversation with a holistic vet who can help you have some of those things readily available in your first aid kit so that people are not tempted. So small changes in their diet can make a really big difference to your dog's comfort and to their health. So if your dog's itchy, if they're licking their paws, if they're getting recurrent ear infections, and they're really struggling with their digestion, then my suggestion is have a look at what they're eating and look at putting some nutrients in there that are going to combat those systems rather than reaching for pharmaceutical drugs.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's the perfect way to finish off our food recap. It's been lovely chatting to you, Heidi. Time's just flying. Unless there's anything else you want to add, any after-all tidbits?
No, I think that's really good, Sammy. Just, you have a great day. It's just changed weather here in the Wairarapa today, so I hope you're in some sunshine up there and up north.
I can see the sunshine here, so it's great. The sun is coming in, so I'm feeling the vibes, It's back to warm.
Well done.
Oh, it's all good.
So
well, thank you so much.
Feed your dog some bone broth for lunch. That would
bone
be
broth
nice.
and no catch skin.
Yeah, and maybe some sardines.
Some sardines. Oh, I love sardines. Actually, I'll add that into him. No worries. Okay, thanks, Heidi. And I'll see you again same time next week on Tuesday. See ya.
Take care. Bye.